Yeah, so today we're hoping to make an MCP or two servers. My original plan for this was to make an Augment Code context engine MCP. So people can use the powerful context engine of Augment Code in any agent, any framework that has MCP connectivity. I have another fun MCP that I think will be a bit smaller and quicker to do, and that is a MAC-Say MCP. I've kind of always wanted the agent to be able to communicate with me through audio to give me like progress updates while I'm away from the computer. And there's a like command in Mac, the say command, where you can just like, actually I'll show you. I think you just be like, say hello world.
Hello
and
world.
yeah, the Mac just talks to you in like a pretty robotic voice, but yeah, it is fun. So I think we can get both of these going at the same time. I'm just going to be using the Augment Code IDE extension, 2 threads here. I already have a prompt set up, and yeah, that's my plan. Cody, how are you doing today? Would you like to give an intro to yourself and what you're hoping to get out of today's session?
Yeah, excited to hang out and see what you build. So my name's Cody D'Arkland. I look after developer experience at Sentry, and so we built a pretty cool MCP server. I built a bunch of MCP servers. We do some cool things inside of the MCP monitoring space. So I'm gonna hang out and try to find where things break and try to help you fix it if it happens. So excited to watch.
Awesome. Okay, so I've already pre-wrote some prompts here. I actually got the Augment Prompt Enhancer to help me write these. Yeah, so one probably big thing, a commonality in both these prompts, you'll see I do have like a research phase or a context gathering phase to research like MCP standards and stuff, because they do change, and these models are on, they have a knowledge cutoff date, so they're only knowledgeable up to a certain part, and MCP is like cutting edge and changes all the time. And to facilitate that, Augment does have its own web search tool inbuilt, but I have been trying out this one recently called Exa. Has a web search MCP, and I found it to be really good, so I'm using that today. I'll just kick these off. So yeah, we can see Augment is doing these Exa web searches, checking for model context protocol standards, and I've also told it to check Augie help, because this Augie context MCP kind of is just a wrapper around the CLI.
My first MCP server I ever built was like a Firecrawl MCP server. So I went and like pulled a free API key from Firecrawl and used it to go and like build just a small MCP for scraping websites off. And like doing this is like a really good way to like understand how MCP really like works in the usage. Now obviously like architecture and like deeper development stuff is stuff that can come after that. But I think Cloudflare has a really good like getting started for theirs, and you can get it up and running on Cloudflare Workers really easily. I think the Next.js one is really fantastic. Like they have this MCP handler package. It'll take any API route, and you can effectively just wrap it in an MCP server. And so like these are really good ways to get started, like in a very like directed approach. Like if you don't want to just prompt and have it go and like build one for you, if you want to like scaffold out the initial version yourself and then have Augment Code go and build the tools for you, that's definitely like a path. So if people are looking at ways to like go and like try this out, I would highly suggest like taking one of those paths. Both of those are going to be like 1 or 2 command lines, and you're going to be up and running with one. So like it's very easy to get started with.
Nice. Yeah, so both these agents finished. I just realized for the MAC-Say one, the prompt actually only said research and documents. So that's, I guess, my bad for not reading over that. So we only got documents. But luckily the Augie one has also finished on time. And that one says we can test it out with MCP Inspector tool. I've noticed that's a pretty common tool people use to debug these MCPs. What are your thoughts on that one, Cody?
Yeah, I think MCP Inspector is a really good way. I tend to kind of just like YOLO my way into just attaching it. So like once I see like the code is there and like it's structured well, and if the server comes up, I'll usually just try to attach it into like whatever IDE plugin I'm using. But MCP Inspector is great also. Like we use that a ton for debugging like the Sentry one, because it can handle auth and all that. And I think MCP Inspector is actually like built for, I thought it was built by Cloudflare. I could be wrong on that. So just like had good synergy with like what we were building overall.
Nice.
And see if it actually connects.
Yeah, for sure. I gave it here, so we can try to add it to Augment. Okay, that connected.
Sick. So try to query it and see what happens.
All right, let me try it in a new session. The tool connected. There we go.
Nice.
It called it. Let's see if it returns.
Now, in the meantime, while this is calling, why don't we
Mhm.
hop into the code for the MCP server, because I want to
Sure.
see what that looks like, so that we can look at
Which,
the Sentry instrumentation setup stuff. So going to probably an index.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's probably just like one file.
Yeah, so there's that const server equals new MCP server. This is what's pretty cool about the way we built the MCP monitoring in Sentry. So as this is actually, it gave us some answers over there on the side. What is did it run successfully?
And found this appears to be a Mac OS system with many projects. Okay, so I'm assuming it ran it in the wrong workspace folder. It worked, but it like ran the Augie CLI in my root development folder instead of in this code base. So yeah.
Well, work. I mean, it still called and got successful. On the right, you can see on the top of that code. So scroll back to the top. There,
Yeah.
the const server equals new MCP server. That
This
server
one? Yeah.
object is ultimately what, like, we made the MCP monitoring in Sentry like really, really easy. All you do is wrap that server, or that server object gets wrapped inside of a MCP handler that will, once that's set up, it'll track everything about that MCP server. So we get like tool call duration and latency. We get
Awesome.
tool performance. So all this stuff is like real easy to set up.
Should we do that?
Yeah, let's do it real quick. You have I assume you have a Sentry environment, or if you don't, we can sign one up real fast.
I should. Is it Sentry.io?
Yep.
There we go. Oh, it's something I had before. Should I create like a new?
Yeah, let's do a new project. So go top left and click on in there and go to projects. We should create project.
Awesome.
And then this is just straight up like Node JavaScript. So click on Node and then give it a name on the bottom left. So just, I don't know, MCP build. So we'll need to install the Node, the Sentry Node package. So
yeah,
do like
I think I had that here. That one.
Yep. Go ahead and do that. Create a new file in the same directory and call it instrument.ts.
Okay.
And then go back to the Sentry, now paste that in.
The whole thing?
Sentry init.
In instrument?
Yeah. But then delete the MCP server line, delete line 2, and then delete the stuff, the const server down on the bottom. We're going to do this a little bit separate, and I'll tell you why in a second.
Okay.
Cool. So it's saying we don't have the Sentry Node installed, but
it's still installing. Yeah.
So now make sure that DSN matches the one that was from your dashboard.
Sentry. Oh, right.
And then that
on
that line right there. Yeah, that's fine.
I noticed the traces sample rate wasn't there, so I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yeah, let's leave it at 1.0 because it's going to make sure it's turned on then. Why it's taking so long to install? It's concerning.
It's npm. Maybe I should have used pm or something.
Maybe.
Should I try that or?
Yeah, go ahead and cancel and try.
I don't know if that looks better. Yeah, definitely better.
There we go. Cool. Now in a few seconds, it should update. There we go. Cool. So we're good there. So save this. Now go back to your index.ts.
Yep.
Now on the very first line of the whole doc, all the way up top, do import instrument.ts. And we do this because we want Sentry to hook in early. Got to put single quotes around it. We want Sentry to hook in as early as possible in the flow so that we get all telemetry brought in. Go ahead and go back to instrument.ts. Do one quick thing. We're going to do two cool things. First, we're going to do a new line below 3. Below line. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I got relative numbers here.
Yeah. Below the traces sample rate.
Okay.
Do enable capital L OGS.
Yep.
True.
Yep.
Next line. Do integrations. Make it an array. Colon array. Delete the Sentry Pino line. Do Sentry capital S dot console logging integration, and then do parentheses. There you go. Cool. So that's there. And then do a new line and do debug true. Cool. So now we have logs turned on automatically. So we're going to get whatever console logs come through, and it gets sent to the Sentry, makes it easier to search. And then we're going to see debug logs so that when everything spins up, we can make sure that it actually turns on the right way.
Awesome.
So now go back to your index.ts.
Yep.
And now go back to the docs real fast. So scroll. So you see where it says a const server. You can see that looks almost identical to what you have, right? And so we're going to grab just that with Sentry MCP. We're going to paste that right in front, and then we got to close off the parentheses on the very bottom.
Oh yeah. Do I gotta import Sentry
Yeah, I
here?
just got to import Sentry, even though we're importing. It's the same line basically. Just plug it right in.
Yeah, got it.
That's it. So that is
Sweet.
committed now. So now when you go and restart your server, we should see a bunch of logs come through.
Uh,
Go into Sentry and go click
Yep.
on Explore on the left,
Yep.
and then go to Traces. Yeah, it's not going to show up live, so we'll have to refresh. There we go. Now we're
Got
getting
logs.
Now we're getting stuff. So now go to Insights on the left.
Insights.
Go to AI.
Ooh, AI Insights.
AI menu, right?
Let's go.
And here we go. So scroll down.
Mm-hmm.
So there you can see your tool call coming through, query code base. Click on that.
Oh yeah, nice.
And then go click on one of those on the right.
This one?
And these are the individual spans. And so like you can imagine, so look on the input on the right. So you can see what it's actually doing in and out.
Oh yeah.
So you had like an interesting problem, right? Where it was you were expecting it to be using like a different workspace or a different configuration. This is like a lot of the stuff that people normally don't get to see around when tool calls are executing. Like it's easy to see what you're asking for, but like what it does behind the scenes and the interactions that the LLM uses that tool call for are usually like transparent. Like you don't see those. And so having this setup lets you be able to get good visibility into like what's happening back and forth inside of those tool calls, like what the results look like, how you can tune your query if there's an error. Now imagine if you had where this gets really cool, because there's like a lot of tools that will gather that stuff. But now imagine that your tool call actually went and made modifications to a database. So it called an API that adds database rows. Well, now with Sentry setup, you'll be able to see the instrumentation down to that database level also. And so if you're getting a ton of database performance issues, but it looks like the AI is just failing, you'll be able to understand really quickly, like, okay, is this failing at the MCP layer inside of my MCP server? Or is this actually the API that's interacting with my database that's a problem? So you get like the full visibility of how the app is actually working.
Yeah, this is great. You even get like the architecture that the device is running on.
Yep.
What else? And I saw like memory usage down the bottom, I think. Pretty good.
So like you can create structured logs off of those that'll be searchable. So if you wanted to be able to like send the results in and be able to search them, or you wanted to be able to query who is actually connecting and using it, like you could add that stuff in. So logs are super easy to get started with and make it really easy, like debug problems on the fly.
Awesome. And could we set up like alerts if something goes wrong?
Totally. We on the Sentry MCP server, we have alerts set up on tool call usage, so that if we see like a drop, like an anomaly drop in the frequency of tool usage, that way we know if something's wrong. So for example, like if we're seeing a steady state of 100 tool calls an hour, just as an example, and suddenly that drops down to like 70 in an hour, we'll get an alert about it that like, hey, notification, the tool call usage has dropped significantly, check it out. And so we do like anomaly alerting off all of this, because it is like ultimately like a token based service. Also, we can do like token alerting. So if you see like token usage ballooning on tool calls, like you can kind of grab that. Obviously tool call performance is a thing. So like how long does it take to execute? All of that stuff is doable also.
That's really cool.
And very easy. That's what I liked about it. It's very easy to get it actually set up and running.
Yeah, it just wrap. So I assume like it's different depending on, Python would be slightly different.
It's very slightly,
like
but
that.
not by much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cody. It's been a real pleasure to have you on.
We'll have to do it again sometime and build. Maybe next time we'll do it in reverse, and I'll build like the next JS path or something.
Yes, that sounds good.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye. All right, that was great. Thanks everyone who joined in. I hope you learned something. The Augment Code MCP that I did make prior to this is public. Augment Context MCP server. But yeah, I mean, if you want to create your own MCP server for anything, it's super easy with Augment. As you saw, this one was literally one prompt. I mean, it was a bit of a detailed prompt. I used the prompt enhancer. I guess, as I said earlier, a big tip for these kind of one-shot prompts is actually to get the agent to first do research, especially for new technologies like Model Context Protocol. A lot of these LLM models, underlying models, might not have up-to-date docs or information on the latest best practices and the way to do stuff. So definitely having a research phase. With Augment, it can do its own web research. I used Exa in this example. I just like trying new tools out, and has been pretty great. I haven't compared to how it would be using the inbuilt Augment web search, but I'm sure it'd be just as good. And then I didn't have to tell Augment to do this, but testing is pretty good for one-shot prompts too. Augment is great at testing its own code. So you'll see here, it ran tests to ensure things were working. And a lot, like 90% of the time, things don't work the first time. Like any senior developer knows that, like you're rarely going to write working code the first time. So testing it, and then as you saw, I had to edit some things to fix the test or fix the code so the test pass. And then eventually project was completed. And yeah, I mean, I think that ended up taking like 15 minutes to get us Augie context MCP. So really impressive stuff there. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up here. Thank you all for joining. I hope you have a good day or night wherever you are, and see you next time.